there is a Gemara that says Kol ha'isha irva. The question is, if the Torah says you're not allowed to, as a man, you're not allowed to listen to a woman sing, because the Gemara says Kol ha'isha irva, that the voice of a woman singing is like her nakedness, meaning that when a man listens to a woman sing, if he knows what she looks like, he's going to think of her naked. Now, interestingly enough, your imagination always beautifies women. They're always more beautiful in your imagination than they are in reality. But what happens if the woman looks like an alligator? What if she looks like she just came out of the Churban Bet HaMikdash? What happened? What about that? It's a question. It's a good question. So, I'm going to give you guys a nice chidush. At the time of the Ben Ish Chai, and also Rabbi Chaim Palaji, two giants in the Sephardic world, Torah world, they said that there is a leniency to shake a woman's hand. Shake a woman's hand if you do not get any joy out of it. Meaning if it's a business transaction of some kind, or if it's let's say if it's a famous person like a governor, and not shaking their hand could create problems and so on. There's a leniency that if you just shake quickly and let go, there's a leniency you're allowed to do it. But if you get joy out of it, for a second, asur. It's like anything else. So, Rabbi Ovadia alav Shalom, when he got an award from the state of Israel for his book, Yabia Omer, he got an award from the country. Such a good book that they awarded him, and the prime minister at the time was Golda Meir, Shem Reshai Merkav. Golda Meir brought him on stage and took out a hand. And Rabbi Ovadia put his hand back, said, "I'm sorry, I don't shake a woman's hand." And she found it very offensive. Why? She's the prime minister. He didn't shake her hand, but there is an eter, there is a leniency to shake a hand. So when his son told the story years later, he says, technically, if you look at it, aside from the Chachamim, the Ben Ish Chai, Rabbi Chaim Palaji, and others that said that technically there's a leniency if someone is important, like a prime minister, there's a leniency. This one had even more leniency. Why? She's ugly, she's old, she's gross, he's married anyway. Oh, there's 1.5 million leniencies with this Amalek. What's that? He could shake a hand all he wants. This one, maybe he want to hug her too. It doesn't make a difference. She's like hugging an alligator. But no, Rabbi Ovadia says himself, he wrote, I didn't hug. Why? I didn't shake a hand. Why? Why? He says, yes, there's leniencies, but who wants to rely on leniencies with such a thing? And sometimes you want to rely on leniencies, sometimes you don't mess with it. The point being is that even though at times there are certain leniencies to do certain things, you have to choose your battles. Now, when it comes to the woman's voice, there is no leniency. If you know what she looks like, you are forbidden from listening to her sing. Some Chachamim say, we're even more stringent, and say you shouldn't even listen to a woman talk because of how much tum'ah you have in your head. But the halacha is, you're not allowed to listen to a woman sing if you know what she looks like, because the mind of a guy, the mind of a man is very different than a woman. It has, your imagination is very, very creative. It's the most creative of Hashem's creations, that in essence, your imagination could even make a 94-year-old woman look pretty. How do I know? Right now, as we speak, there's a guy that went on the news, maybe about a year ago. He's 35 years old. Why is this 35-year-old nobody on the news? He wanted to introduce his girlfriend to the world. Who's his girlfriend? 94 years old woman. 94 years old. He's not even young enough to be a grandson. He's a great-grandson. She's a girlfriend. Why? Is it imagination? Who knows what happened in his imagination? Point being, if Torah says that the voice of a woman is nakedness, there's a reason for it. Generally speaking, I'll finish off with this. Someone asked Rabbi Ovadia one time, Kvod Harab, how come there's not any halachot about music? Listening this, aside from this specific halakha, it's very famous, it's in the Gemara. Aside from that, we don't really know much about the treatment of music. So Ovadia looked at the student seriously, and he says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu's house has been destroyed for 2,000 years. Who says you're even allowed to listen to it? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is homeless right now. You think that you're supposed to listen to music? So there is a leniency that you can, as long as it's kosher music and it's music that's connected to Hashem. You're never allowed to listen to secular music, no matter if it's a man or a female. You're never allowed to listen to this mumbo jumbo hip hop and all of this rock and roll, all that filth that's in the world. Never allowed to listen to that stuff. That's the stuff that puts tumah into your head, that makes you start becoming a kofir silently. The only music you're allowed to listen to, meaning that there's a leniency to do so, is music that will help you connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Other than that, no music whatsoever is allowed, ever. You could go ask your local reform rabbi, and he'll play the music for you if you want. You know, play Raul, maybe he'll sing a rap tune to you. But as far as halakha says no. Why? Because it's you have to be very, very careful with what you allow into your mind.